Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I am going to kick off this season with Evil Season 3, Episode 1, and it's called The Demon of Death. Let me tell you, this episode was absolutely crazy, insane, but it was so damn good. It was really good. You know, you already have them battling Christianity with science. So in this episode, you really get to see, you see it throughout the whole series, but this episode, they really show Christianity versus science. But before we get into that, let's get into David and Kristen. I really thought they was going to do something. In my dirty little mind, I was like, okay, the priest is about to get his holy peen waxed and coated, with her devilish sugar bowl, but it did not really happen. Now, David thought it happened, but it did not happen. So what we saw Kristen, David and Kristen, he was praying for her and she was hugging him, and then we see them share a kiss. They both kissed. And then she started taking off her shirt. She lay down on the bed, but he saw those crossburns on her stomach. So he was staring, and they didn't go any further. So she was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And she grabbed her things and she ran out the room. But it shows her looking back. And then it goes back to David being in the room. He's on his knees asking God to take this, to help him, to guide him through all of this. And Kristen, but let me finish. Kristen comes in the room and she's taking off her clothes, and they start to do, the sinful thing. Now, I thought it was Kristen at first, but it wasn't. David is having sex with a demon that looks like Kristen. For some reason, David cannot fight this demon. And I think because the demon is in the form of Kristen, and he shares and he holds a special place in his heart for Kristen. So when they did meet up and they was talking, and he was like insinuating to her that they did more than just kiss, she was like, no, I left. So that now he's thinking, oh wow, that wasn't Kristen. But we the viewers, we thought it was Kristen. But it's like the second time it happened, I said, no, this is not Kristen. This is a demon. This is a demon. And I'm not going to lie. Part of me wanted it to be Kristen because I want to see them together. And I know she's married. But it just seems like those two have like a connection to each other. And I don't know. I just don't know how this is going to play out throughout the whole series. Now, so that happened. I'm just going to give you guys some highlights of what happened in the series. I'm not going to go deep into it. So now Kristen's husband is back home, and he tells Cheryl, I want you out the garage and all this kind of stuff. So now Cheryl is all upset about that. So she goes to her little voodoo stand, or whatever you want to call it, shrine, and she starts praying, and then I guess she conjures up something. All right. So she does that. So now the girls know their dad is home. He's home early. He sold the business. He have a buyer for the business. So now he's home. He wants to be with his wife and their children. And I don't know if because Kristen doesn't seem excited that her husband is back. I know she loves him, but she doesn't seem like she's excited that he's back home permanently. All right. And I think the next step, he might ask her to not work anymore. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. And that might be further on in the series. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So if it happens, you heard it here first. But I can see it happening, but I'm not sure. All right. So now that's that. So we go back to the church. So Kristen, and they're getting ready to do this thing for the weight, to see how, like, to test to see if your soul, how many pounds you leave when you die, are you after death, when your soul leaves. They experimenting with that, and that's part of the science thing. So we have Kristen, David, Ben, the Monsignor, and Leland. But the head priest, I think he's a head priest, and the older guy is a Monsignor. And of course, Leland is there. I am so sick of Leland, but he makes the show interesting. But he can be very annoying, very annoying. So Kristen comes in, and she's in his face, and she handles kids on the paper to stay away from her daughter. Because why are you around her daughter? Why are you even, he just do some weird stuff. So she was like, yeah, he's bothering my daughter. He's, picking her from school. He's doing this, and he touched her. And then she said something was like, unless you don't mind him touching on kids or something like that. So of course the head priest was like, no, he gets to go. We're gonna take care of that. All right. So Leland is not part of this experiment that they're about to do. So they go to this big place, and they have to wear coats. These coats, because it's very cold in there. And I'm thinking the Monsignor is the older guy that's dying. They bring him in because he's dying, and they put him in this case, and they got all this technology set up, and they trying to see that when he died, how many pounds does he lose? I mean, not pound, yeah, how many pounds does he lose? So when he does pass on, okay, the numbers start to drop in his weight. And I think it stopped at 24 grams. So he lost 24 grams. But as this is happening, I'm noticing in the background that the lights are popping. Every time someone dies, the lights are popping. Something is happening in that room. Well, as soon as he died, not too long, I give it like 5 minutes after he died, he comes back alive. Now, he had cancer, okay? He had the worst stage, okay? He had cancer. When they realize that he's alive, they get him out. He's talking. He's feeling better. He's healed. He's basically healed. And so the head priest is like, what is going on? Like, he couldn't believe it. So David thinks it's a miracle. And of course, you have Ben and Kristen. They have their own different reasons as well of why this happened. But what gets me is when the nurse, when she passed away, because she has this bandage over her eye, when she passed away, and they do the same thing for her, she gained weight, okay, and she has a deadly cancer, okay. So I'm thinking with that, what happened was, it's not their soul leaving. I'm thinking more like it's the devil leaving. It's a demon. The demon left out of the older the Monsignor's body, right? And because when she died, the same thing happened. The lights started popping. The lights went out. Everything. It was just a whole different. It was just really crazy. So when she died, she gained weight, 64 grams, and she has cancer when she died. So I think whatever it was, and that when that Monsignor was in that case, when he died, that demon left him, and when she died, it went into her. That's what I'm thinking. So that was kind of weird within itself. Like this episode was really good because it comes with it. It's coming with it, and it's hitting hard for the first episode. Now, we have Kristen's husband and Cheryl face to face, okay? But when he's in their bedroom, he's pulling the bed from the wall. Because he wants to try to turn the bed around so that their feet won't be at the door or whatever he's doing. And he finds a jar. And I think that's what the jar Cheryl put under his bed. So I think she's trying to get rid of him, basically, because she doesn't like him. So he picks up the jar and he pours it out into the toilet. And this like, it looked like a brain, but it has a face. So it just looks really weird. And he pours it in the toilet. Let me tell you, those girls are irritating. Those girls are annoying. You can't, it's only one bathroom in the house. And those girls, the father's telling them to be quiet, wait a minute, and they still banging on the door. Those girls going to have to get it together because they are annoying as hell. So he's pouring it into the, he did all that. He sees it. He takes the plunger, the long brown handle part, the plunger handle, and start poking at it, and then it breaks off, and then he flushes it. But then he looked, and a piece is still floating around, and he flushes it again. So Cheryl is really trying to put something on him to get rid of him. I'm like, wow. She is evil. Since she's been dealing with Leland, she's terrible. So that's what's happened. Now, here's the thing that really shocked me. The head priest and the Monsignor, if I'm saying it correctly, the older man that was dying, that came back to life, and he's healed from his sickness. His friend, I think his name is Ed. Him and Ed, when he got out of the thing, when they opened up the thing, the coffin-like thing for him to come out, he saw Ed, and he gave him a hug, and he gave him a kiss, and he said, "Oh my God, I always wanted to do that." And I'm like, what? You always want to kiss your friend in the mouth? So I'm thinking, like, what's going on here? But when David, Ben, and Kristen was in the room talking, David noticed Ed and Monsignor was in the hallway, and they gave each other a hug and went their own ways. And that's when Ben and Kristen turned around and saw that, and he was like, well, they both going to different parishes, because if they stay, they are afraid of what's to happen. So, are you telling me that they are afraid because they will be in a relationship? Do they have those type of feelings for each other? Because that's what I'm getting. So I want to know what you guys picked up. But anyway, I just want to talk about some of the things that's happening in this season. It is really good. I am enjoying it. Do you think Kristen and her husband are going to really be happy together? Do you think David is finally going to fight his demons? Because right now he's at a losing battle. He's a priest. He's a new priest, but he's losing. That demon is controlling him, and it's some type of sex demon, because that's his weakness. And his weakness is Kristen also. So that demon is coming in the form of Kristen, and it's probably a sex demon, and it is just taking over David. But I hope as the series go on, he'll be able to fight it. I really do. I really, really do. Do you think Cheryl is going to stop trying to do what she do to get rid of her son-in-law? She need to stop, period. But what freaked me out is that when he went into the garage and opened the door, that demon-looking thing was in her room, and he saw it. He saw it because it scared the crap out of him, and he fell back. And that's when his daughter came downstairs. So I don't know, but you know what? It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you saw it. How did you feel about it? But I will rate this episode. It was an A+. So I'm going to start rating episodes as I go along. I never did it before, but I'm going to start doing it now. So I rate this episode an A+. I'm just going to kick it out of the gate with an A+. All right. You guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you later.